All right, welcome everyone to Aquaculture Business Growth Conference Day 2. It is another time to get value that will channel us into 2025 in doing aquaculture business right in the proper way, following the best practice management practices in 2025. So thank you for joining. If you are just joining, kindly state your name and where you are joining from. Trust me, it's going to be another time of value session because I have with me here a great speaker that are going to be coming up, the likes of Mr. Paul Imiola, the likes of Dr. Mohammed Eslaud from Egypt. So today is going to be an insightful session, and on behalf of the conference director, Mr. Azuka Chekube, I bring greetings to everyone. And on behalf of the president of World Aquaculture Society, I bring greetings to you that today sit right, sit tight, and listen to ask questions about what you need to know before entering 2025, doing your aquaculture business the right and the profitable manner. Thank you for joining us today. In no time now, I'm going to be introducing our first speaker for today's conference, which is Mr. Paul Ayomide Emiola. He's a marine scientist, a Nigel explorer. He's the founder of Aqua World, leading the vision all across the southwest Nigeria. He's the director of operations for You Recycle Initiative Africa, and is a global LCRF fellow and a scholar for Erasmus Mundus 2024 Scholarship Award. Join me as I welcome Mr. Paul Ibiola.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you so much, Paul. It's a great pleasure being at the Aquaculture Growth Summit 2024. That's season 2. And I trust it has been a great session since the day one, which started yesterday. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone, from wherever you are joining us all around the globe. My name is Paul Everyday, empowering youth in African agriculture. Talking about empowering youth in African agriculture. All right, and I'll try to make it as interactive as possible, and also for diversity of our audience. Um, Kindly pardon me because I'll be um, speaking through the context of Africa. Speaking through the context of Africa. Okay, so Paul, please kindly confirm if my slides are visible. I'm trying to present my slides so as to improve the audience engagement. Please, can you confirm if my slides are visible from the audio? Okay, I think um, it should. Please hold on. Just gonna confirm. Once I get the confirmation from the team, I'll be able to know if I can go ahead. Okay, great. So I can see that my slide is visible now. All right, I can see that my slide is visible. So like I said, I'll be talking about youth involvement and knowledge exchange platform in promoting agricultural sector in Africa to meet the food demand gap. The first thing I want us to pay attention to is first the word youth involvement, and secondly knowledge exchange platforms. These are the two important terms that we focus on to influence agricultural products that would to improve the agricultural sector in Africa. And I'm sure that everyone agrees with me when we talk about food, agriculture is the first source that comes to mind, right? When we talk about food, talk about food demand, talk about dietary, talk about protein supply, talk about growth, that's body growth. Top of it is food. And you talk about health as well, top of it is food. When you talk about hunger, top of it is food. If you even want to measure the standard of living, if you want to measure poverty rates, if you want to measure um, poverty index, you want to measure growth rates, economic stability, one of the first things you would consider is access to food. And that is where agricultural sector is highly important compared to other sectors, right? Agricultural sector is a sector where the byproducts are very, very useful for human. The products, rather, are very, very useful for human. All right, so this is going to be the outline that will guide our discussion today. I'll give a brief introduction about the concepts and lead us into the conversation. The African agricultural landscape, what are the barriers and the opportunities? What is the youth advantage in agriculture, especially in Africa? Especially in Africa. Then we can dive into knowledge exchange platforms. What do we mean by knowledge exchange platforms? And how can knowledge exchange platforms facilitate youth involvement in creative agriculture, in innovative agriculture? Then how can we promote youth involvement? Is one thing to know the importance of something. It's another thing for you to be able to utilize that thing to make it reality. And then what is the call to action to everyone? I'm sure our audience is very, very diverse. We have the young people, we have the business class, we have the students, we have the government workers, we have the industry leaders. What is expected from every one of us? And we can conclude the session. All right, so just a brief introduction about me. I am a marine scientist. I'm an alumnus of the Global Leadership for Climate Resilience Fisheries Fellowship, which is led by the Environmental Defense Fund and the Sustainable Ocean Alliance in America. I had my first degree in fisheries and aquaculture technology at the Federal University of Technology, Akure, and I'm the founder and executive director of AquaWorld. I'm also an Erasmus scholar studying marine environment. Okay, so let's dive into today's discussion. Agriculture plays a vital role in Africa's economy. And one important thing that we should know is talking about our gross domestic products, agriculture alone contributes up to 25% of Africa's gross domestic product, year in, year out. So this states that among all other sectors, oil and gas, um, industry, tourism, and every other sector, when one sector gives you a quarter, 1/4 of your domestic gross product, it means that that sector is viable for business development. Secondly, it states that the sector has a potential for expansion and yield. Remember, when we talk about agriculture, there are so many chains in agriculture. And that's another point about agriculture. Agriculture is a sector with diverse chains, so many diverse chains, right? There is growth of agricultural products, there is processing, there is marketing, there is sales, there is the agricultural extension aspect of it, there is research aspect of it, there is community service, there is education and literacy, right? So There is also the business for profit aspect. It's a very broad sector, a very broad sector. And according to so many literatures, according to so many experts, agriculture in Africa is yet to achieve the average of its potential. Now, what does that mean? Currently, it is a developing sector and it still produces 25% of our GDP. Then, what happens if it is able to harness up to 50% of its potential? Now, what is the key to unlocking that 50% of its potential and more? And mind you, you need to understand that currently agriculture employs up to 60% of the workforce in Africa, according to World Bank. Up to 60%. You can do the calculation of the population in Africa and just do the 60% extraction to tell you that agriculture is a very, very significant sector. And it's a sector that would live by and by till eternity. It is an important sector that plays a huge role. I said it earlier, in food security. It plays a huge role in quality life. It plays a huge role in health, even in helping to sustain our economy, sustaining our cities. Agriculture plays a huge role in job creation. Agriculture is linked to all of the 15 sustainable development goals. There's an approach that agriculture can give to achieving each of the sustainable development goals, like I have said earlier. So now, what is the key to unlocking the full potential of agriculture in Africa? And that key is the youth. Young people in Africa, we are the key to unlocking that huge potential that agriculture holds to our continent. It means that agriculture can improve from employing up to 60% workforce to 80% workforce. Do you know what that means? It means that when we improve the the the, the um the employability of agriculture from 60% to 20%, just imagine the rate of the how unemployment in Africa would reduce. That's the first thing. What would happen to access to fund, improvement in income, access to raw materials, transportation of goods and services? And how would that reduce the poverty index in Africa? Which means that many people will be able to live sustainably daily. They will be able to get access to food and resources to sustain themselves daily. This is where the youth come in. Now, in light of all of this, there are some challenges that limit the agricultural potential in Africa. And this would develop the framework for the thinking box for the youth. So many literatures, so many agricultural experts, at the center of all of their problems are these three important factors. The first is technology, the second is finance, and the third is market. And during the course of this session, we'll talk about how we can transform these challenges. As young people, whenever we see challenges, we should see opportunities. Now, how do we transform all of these challenges to opportunities in improving the agricultural sector in Africa? Remember, I said the agricultural sector contributes up to 25% of our GDP in Africa, and which is not yet half of the potential. Half of its potential. It can do more. It can do better. Currently, there are some countries that they import food more than they produce. Until we are able to meet our demand, our food demand in Africa, then we have not utilized the potential of agriculture. I did not say until we have been able to meet the food demand in Nigeria. I didn't say it's Southwestern Africa. I mean the whole continent itself. Until we are able to meet our food demand gap domestically, then we have not utilized the potential of agriculture. Now, in light of this, Africa's population is projected to reach 2.5 billion by 2050. Now, what does this mean to the agricultural sector? Mind you, like I said, this introduction is just to pave way into what we're going to be discussing. By 2050, Africa is projected to have a population of 2.5 billion. What does this mean to the agricultural sector? Number one, food demand will increase. Number two, there will be more increase for raw material. I believe you all know that the agricultural sector provides enormous raw materials for different purposes. And also, there will be increase in demand for labor. Increased demand for labor, and etc. So many other factors, so many other things that would happen. Because with increase in population, with that increase in population comes population growth, urbanization, and also income growth. And interpreting it in the agricultural sector means when we have more people, there is need for more food. That's an opportunity. There will be need for more raw materials, which means that there will be little need for any waste in agriculture. Everything in the agricultural sector would have a use as raw materials. And that is where waste to wealth has a huge opportunity. Currently, there are so many discussions, so many innovations are making us understand that we have not been able to convert the waste from agriculture efficiently, properly. So now when the population increases, it means we need to think of how we can convert all of these resources that we call waste, byproducts actually, that are referred to as waste, to potential raw materials that can be utilized for other production chain, that can be utilized for other production processes in Africa. And the increase in population means there will be more people who would be moving into the labor force, either as skilled or unskilled labor. That means the agricultural sector in Africa has no excuse in terms of limited labor, has no excuse in terms of looking for a market again, because the market is here in Africa. Now, like I said earlier, we have identified some challenges in the African agricultural landscape. Now, how does this transform to opportunities? Let's take technology gap for an example. You know, over the years, um, farmers have been able to open up, doing engagement, talk about some of the challenges they are facing in terms of um, harnessing machines and its advantage compared to manual labor, right? Also, researchers have identified data-driven decision-making tools to be lacking among um, some farmers' operation, right? There have been so many technological gaps. As well, some farmers report to having limited system to monitor their crop health and productivity. This is a gap. But this is saying that there's an opportunity for us to adopt digital revolution. Digital revolution, where we can adopt e-commerce platforms. Oh, farmers do not need to complain about not having potential consumers ready for their groups, ready for their crops when they are available for sale. Right? We can also adopt smart farming technologies. In Nigeria these days, you see so many farmers now are adopting um, this aquaponics, the use of greenhouse, you know, and so many fabricated tools to bridge that technology gap. For example, now there are e-commerce platforms where you can easily place your goods for sale, and people who are far away from you can make an order. This is transforming these challenges to solution. Secondly, climate change. The unpredictable weather has left irregular rainfall patterns and temperature changes that are unexpected to our environment, and this is affecting our agricultural produce. Now, looking beyond these challenges, we are currently adopting climate smart agriculture. That is agricultural process that can help our crops adapt to climate change impact and also resist the adverse effects of climate change. That is, looking beyond all of these challenges, behind them are solutions. There are opportunities that youth can merge into to transform the African agricultural landscape to achieving its full potential. And one other challenge that so many individuals in the agricultural sector complain about is financial constraints. Oh, I do not have enough capital to do this. Even when I get the capital, I need money to sustain. And that is where resource management and partnerships comes in. Resource management and partnership comes in. That is, this is a sector where we can collaborate with co-individuals in the agricultural space to utilize resources, to utilize funds, and also to have access to the global market. To have access to the global market. I was discussing with a particular agricultural expert, and I was like, Paul, I have an idea on a particular project, but I don't have the expertise. And I told him, oh, I know someone who have that expertise. You can just reach out to him and explain. And these two individuals, when they are able to work together, the other individual who has the experience would collaborate with the other individual who has the idea to bring something to life. Now, this would have helped in bridging down financial implications if the one with idea should go ahead to seek expertise, learn, and all of that. And with the one with the expertise who does not have the resources. And that is where we need to adopt cutting edge critical thinking ability. How do we manage our limited resources? See, the issue of resource management is going to be an output of discussion decades from decades, because resources are not going to be available to everyone equally. And that is where the young people need to start thinking, how do we transform these challenges into opportunities? We need to key into digital revolution. We can't do without climate smart agriculture. And some of these things simply needs innovation, not invention. Innovation, not invention. You don't need to create a new machine. All you need to do is look at the existing model. How can you utilize this existing model creatively? Technology has been around us for years, but e-commerce started with someone, and now e-commerce is everywhere. It is everywhere. You see people post their goods even on WhatsApp status. You see people perform surveys. right? You see, when people adopt platforms created by others to improve their business. So this is the African agricultural landscape. These are some of the challenges, and these are opportunities that lies for young people. Now, what is the youth advantage in the agricultural sector? What is the youth advantage in all of this? Now, we need to understand that currently Asia and Africa have the forecast for the highest population by 2000, by 2100. Now, what does this mean? Going deeper, the population of the young people currently in Africa, they call Africa a youthful population. What does that mean? It means that from now to 2050, average, at least average of African population would be within the age of 18 to 25. And what does that mean? When you have a youth population, you know that this from age 17 to 40, 50, this is what we call the lively age. People within this age range, they are the ones that play major role as consumer in the market, buyers in the market, producers in the market. They are more involved in exchange of materials. That's the first advantage that we have. We have a youthful population, which means we have a market. We have a market for all of our resources. Then, what is the advantage also for youth in the African agricultural landscape? The first thing is technology affinity. You see, this generation that we have now is what we call the digital native generation. We are so aligned with the digital world that if a young person wants to know something, just give them 10, 15 minutes. They get an idea on it. And this is where we need to adopt the technological affinity. We need to adopt that digital literacy to our advantage. And also social media expertise. It comes natural for the young people to be able to find a way around social media for business purpose, for personal development. So for youth in the agricultural landscape, in terms of technology affinity, it means that we have advantage of the social media to reach people, social media to sell our products, social media to collaborate. This is one of the things we are doing now. Knowledge transfer, social media. And also, like I said, quick technology adoption. You want to learn about a particular tool, the particular model, gone those days when people need to travel to academy. Kudos to what Pest Academy is doing right now. Due to technology affinity, the academy is taking to people in their houses. People don't need to go to physical sites again to be part of a training. So that is one advantage of the youth in improving agriculture. Secondly is the innovation mindset. One thing about the young people, one thing that young people need to take advantage of is our entrepreneurial spirit. Entrepreneurial spirit. You see, young people in Africa would say something. Despite our corporate careers, despite our full-time jobs, we call some things side hustles. Oh, aside me doing this, I do this, I do that. That's the entrepreneurial spirit that comes naturally for us in Africa. And we must also adopt this mindset in the agricultural sector to bet creative solutions. That's the innovative mindset. problem solving, right? That's an advantage that young people have. You see, young people, whenever they're in a problem, they think through for a solution. That is what we must do with agriculture. All of the problems we are facing in agriculture, we must think of a solution, think of an opportunity. You don't need to solve, don't need to have a perfect framework. You need to start. Think about it. The benefit of everything we are enjoying today started with an action, right? Like I said earlier, Pest Academy is making distance learning easy. Same thing with AquaOrg as in general. Now, for those who have this who have this block in thinking about ideas, how to improve their solution, from events like this, from trainings like this, they are able to adopt new approaches. So, as young people with innovative mindsets, we must always think of a solution. We must always think of a solution. How do I improve um, food supply? How do I improve the transportation in agriculture? How do I improve processing? How do I manage my resources? How do I manage what I have now, pending the time I'm able to get more sophisticated materials? Then the third thing is adaptability. One thing about the young people, one advantage we have is we are open to new methods, always open to new methods, right? We have this quick learning curve. We are so fast to learning. Our mindset is still very young. And we can adopt this we can adopt this by utilizing global solutions locally. How do we adopt global case studies? Case studies of a farmer in Mexico, case study of another farmer in Kenya. How can I adopt this in Ghana? How can I adopt this in Nigeria? How can I use it in a way that is going to solve our problem in Nigeria? This adaptability is not only, we should not only do that for other sectors, we should also bring that into the agricultural sector. So these are some advantage that the youth have. Number one is the population. And these three key factors: innovation mindset, technology affinity, and also adaptability. Now, let's talk about knowledge exchange platforms. One important sector that can catalyze the growth of agriculture is knowledge exchange platforms, right? Platforms where information are made readily available, insights are easily shared, innovations are easily tapped into with little or no cost. Platforms where I can talk about what I'm adopting, where I am to improve crop yield, and someone else can easily see it. They can have it at their fingertips. Knowledge exchange platforms. Platforms where stakeholders share insights, skills, and innovation, such as digital learning hubs, like one of these, which I'm sure is going to be available on YouTube for people to watch anytime, any day. Peer networks, where we can empower ourselves with knowledge and skill sets, where we can easily exchange knowledge, ideas. Someone who has studied crop science or agriculture, agricultural extension, fisheries, and aquaculture can easily implement or promote his expertise to someone who is far or even closer to himself. Technology transfer. Platforms where I can easily train you on how to use some resources to improve agricultural yields in Africa. In fact, through these platforms, I could meet my own potential clients. I could meet my own potential buyers. I could be consulted. Platforms where we can meet different stakeholders. This is very, very important and key to agricultural growth in Africa. And These are examples of some knowledgeable exchange platforms. You can go back and check up on them. The small scale fishery hubs, um, the GFAIR, the AATE, Digital Green. These and many other platforms that will be created by young people can help improve the growth. You can easily, when you're having any challenge, you can go online, have access to their resources, and extract some case studies that you can adopt. That is the importance of exchange platforms. Someone tell you where they have failed before, and you can go there and you make sure you don't make such mistakes. So these are the importance of knowledge exchange platforms. Then how do we now promote youth involvement and knowledge exchange? Like I said, we have very, very huge audience, diversity in our audience. We have the government, we have industry workers, we have public, and also we have entrepreneurs. In the public sector, we should start looking at how we can create policies that would support access of youth to land and finances. It is not enough that we use all our lands for infrastructures alone. Let us provide access to our younger generation. Let us provide finances. Incentivize youth-led innovations. There are so many youth-led innovations that need guidance, that need mentorship to upskill. And also we need digital platforms, even physical platforms for training and collaboration and market access. For example, there's the African Free Continental Trade Area that is trying to influence borderless Africa. Each government for each country should start looking at how they can localize some of this approach in the countries and make them easily available for young people. And also capacity building, right? The youth must give themselves capacity building, and those with expertise must also be willing to mentor others and provide resource access. And here is my call to action to everyone. For the youth, we need to take ownership, innovate, and also seek collaboration. Remember that you cannot improve the agricultural sector alone. You can't work in silo. The agricultural sector is so huge. Even in different chains, you need to collaborate. And for our government, you need to trust the young people and invest in creating enabling platforms for the younger generation to thrive in agriculture. And everyone, we need to understand this, that agriculture is the backbone of Africa's future, and it is a critical tool for achieving all of sustainable development goals. Think of any sustainable development goals. Agriculture is a critical tool for achieving every of this. And I leave us to the conclusion that Africa's future lies in agriculture, and agriculture is in the hand of the youth, whose energy and innovation can transform the sector into a continental solution that would solve our food demand issues and also bridge the gap of unemployment, improve access to job acquisition, job to youth development, and also promote global food security. So this is a serious call to action to every one of us. Let us just imagine an Africa where food security is high and where young people lead sustainable agricultural technologies. And we are able to also ensure food security, not just for the coming this particular generation, but for the coming generation. Thank you so much, everyone. I hope we've had a very wonderful and insightful time during this short period. Thank you.
Wow, this is a very great session. Can you hear me, sir?
Yes, loud and clear.
Yes, thank you so much for the session today. And it has been an insightful one. When you talk about ability to adapt to technology, the innovation mindset that we need to have going forward in 2025 is a very key thing. So let me just allow if there are questions from the viewers. If there are questions, then just respond to one of them, maybe other question. You can do that at your free time because I know you need to run. So if there are no questions, then we move ahead and you just give us your general advice going forward in 2025. So what was your general advice going forward in 2025 in the aspect of technology and
So my
access to
general advice to everyone is to have a creative and possibility mindset. A creative and possibility mindset. When you think of something in agriculture that you want to do, you need to sum up the courage to start it. Start it first. And in starting means you need to adopt creativity, critical thinking, right? Do not think of the problems because the problems will weigh you down. Rather, look at the bigger picture and think of the possibility of improving agriculture, either in processing, transportation. Do not let your big ideas be fearful for you. Think big. So that's just it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. I really appreciate you. On to Abimbola Philomena. What do you have to say? I believe you are there.
Good day, everyone. Thank you, Mr. Iwiola, for the insightful session. It was such a great one. I learned a lot. My book is full already. And thank you, everyone, for joining us on today's program. And in absence of questions, I would like to invite our next speaker. Hi, guys. Please, if you are not with your Bible and your jotter, you have to do that now because you enjoyed the first session. We all know we are learning from the best now. So these are aquaculture experts in the industry. Now, I'm going to invite our second speaker for today, which is Dr. Muhammad Abu Esod. He is a feed processing expert, R&D director, NutriVet. Thank you, Sammy. We have you now.
Okay, yeah, he's joining us. He's going to join us. Please just give us few minutes while we digest the first session and wait for our next speaker to come up. Thank you, guys. All right, sir. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much for joining us, sir. We are happy to have you. Are you there, sir? Can you hear me? Okay, I think he's experiencing a network glitch. While we wait patiently.
Hello? Hello?
Hi, sir. Good morning to you, sir.
Hi,
Good day,
doctor.
sir. Good day, rather.
I hope you are keeping well.
Sir, I can't hear you
Okay.
clearly, sir.
Okay. Is my voice is heard properly?
Okay, I can hear you loud and clear now, sir. May
Could
we
me
have
start
you?
now?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Hello, everybody. Assalamu alaikum. I'm Dr. Muhammad Abu Saud, feed quality expert, uh, research and development manager at Nutrivet, Egypt. I'm so happy to be with you to cross pollinate our experience, and I hope you enjoy my presentation. Feed almost represent about 70% of uh, production cost. So it's important to choose the right and the high quality feed in your farms. Let us discuss about what is the quality parameter of feed. How could I choose the right one to maximize our benefit, maximize our productivity in our fish farm? There are seven characteristics of fish feed quality. It should be considered when you choose the right feed in your farm. Number one, homogeneity, water stability, durability, water activity, hardness, biochemical stability, presentation of raw material in its nutritional value. Okay, next. Next. Could you hear me, please?
Yes,
Hello?
sir. Yes, sir. We
Ah,
can hear you clearly.
the slide disappear from. Yeah, yeah. Okay, okay. Next. Yeah, yeah. Okay. Homogeneity of the feed is divided into two parts: internal homogeneity and apparent homogeneity. When considering internal homogeneity, each feed pellet must represent the entire batch of feed in terms of protein, carbohydrates, fats, premixes, and other feed additives. Additives here are particularly sensitive because they are added in small amount, and any failure in mixing quality will lead to poor distribution in the feed batch. There are many types. Okay. Uh, there are many types of mixers in feed mills, such as single or double spiral, single or double pedals, and other. My primary concern here is to discuss the appropriate mixing time, which depends on several factors, the most important of which are the density of raw material, the capacity of mixer, its type, and the speed of the motor. This issue, I think it looks like related to the feed mills and the feed processors. In the past, some traditional tests were used to measure mixing quality, such as measuring the protein content in the different sample of the same batch. However, today, with the use of additive in very small proportions, which can reach as low as zero point 0.5 kg per ton, and are expensive. It was necessary to find a more accurate method. This is where the last global methods, microtracer technology. Uh, Microtracer, this method originally used in pharmaceutical factories to measure the quality of the drug mixing, has now been adapted to access the mixing quality in feed production. Next, next, please. Next, please. Next slide. Hello. Hello. Could you
Hello,
hear
sir.
me?
Yes. Yes, sir.
There is no slide in front of me.
Yeah, the
The
person
presentation
controlling the slide
disappeared.
is definitely experiencing a network glitch. Please bear with us, sir. The slide will come up
Mm.
very soon.
This problem is from me or from um you? Is there any problem in my connection?
I'm checking that, sir. I don't think so.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Next. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. That's all right. This is a micro tracer technology. You can see a micro tracer apparatus. The micro tracer device works by adding colored magnetic tracer to the feed ingredient in the mixer, and then detecting them after the mixing process using micro tracer device, as you see. This method provides results with accuracy of up to 50 grams per ton. Okay, it means 50 ppm, making it a highly precise technique for evaluating mixing quality. It also helps determine the appropriate mixing time and calibrate the mixer, which should be done at the regular interval to ensure quality. Uh, it's the first step for feed quality, internal homogeneity. External or apparent homogeneity of feed divided into four criteria: homogeneity of size and shape. When you choose, I think it's very important for your selecting the right high quality feed. You can evaluate this issue by your eye. So when you buy feed, put in your considerations this criteria. The feed should have uniform size and shape without dents or cracks. Homogeneity of density. Okay, good cooking ensure all feed is at the same consistency. whether floating or sinking. It is unacceptable to find sinking pellet in floating feed or vice versa. This indicator manufacturing defects. Homogeneity of texture. All pellets should be have the same texture. It is unacceptable to find some pellets hard and the others soft. Soft pellets typically have high moisture content and high water activity, promoting the growth of bacteria, fungi, and yeast, leading to production of mycotoxins that negatively affect fish health and fish safety. Also, it reflects on fish performance. Homogeneity of color. The color of feed pellets should have, although the color of feed can vary due to many factors, the pellet should be ultimately have the uniform color. Variation in pellet color showing both light and dark pellet indicate poor manufacturing process. From mixing to drying, size and shape without dentist cracks. It is the external homogeneity parameters should be put in your consideration. Next, please. Next. Hello. Hello.
Hello, sir. Yes, we
Yeah.
are here. We
Next
are
slide,
here.
please.
All right, sir.
Okay, I think there is a network glitch. Let's bring it up again, please.
Is there any problem?
Yes, sir. Is
Yes,
the
the
network.
network is dropping the slide. Let me bring it up again. Let me bring it up.
Is disturbance here is from the network?
Exactly. It's from the network.
Yeah.
Okay, just give it a few minutes now. It's going to come up. Few seconds.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so there you have it.
Yeah. Next.
Okay.
Yeah. The second more important issue or feed quality parameter for aqua feed is water stability. Water stability refers to the duration that the feed remain intact in water without disintegration. The required water stability time depends on the feeding behavior of the fish. For example, tilapia require a water stability of around 20 minutes, whereas shrimp require a water stability of at least 60 minutes due to their feeding habits. Next, please. Okay, this apparatus found in the major feed mills. It's a device used to measure water stability in the its name is tensiometer. It records the water stability process starting from the swelling of pellets to the disintegration and dispersion. It's called tensiometer. Next, false water stability. False water stability occur when the feed after the generalization stage is exposed to extreme temperature and high pressure during feed processing. This lead to burning of raw material and the onset of decristallization, where the other part of the feed the pellets become similar to plastic. This process results to significant loss of nutritional value, negatively impacting fish conversion rate. In this stage, aqua feed remain many hours stable in the water, but it's not good because it's difficult to digest this feed material and as I see, it's had it has negatively impacting on fish FCR. You can determine the water stability in your farm by adding about 50 grams of aqua feed in a cup containing 200 milli of water and observe the swelling process of pellet disintegration and determine your feed water stability. Next, feed durability. It's also important factor. Durability is a crucial factor in feed quality. Feeds with high durability and minimal fines typically exhibit superior quality, leading to excellent performance and FCR rate. Feed durability depends on the feed formulation and the cooking quality. It is unacceptable to have a high percentage of fines in fish feed, as fines represent wasted water without any nutritional benefits. Moreover, fines can contribute to poor water quality, hindering fish performance. Next, next, please.
Dr. Mohammed, can you see the slide?
What?
The slide, is it still showing?
I couldn't see the slides. Slides it's disappeared from me. Is there a problem there?
Okay. I think the network keeps dropping it, but let me bring it up back.
Hmm.
It's been attached to a different system.
What?
I said it's been attached to a different PC. Let me bring it up back.
Hmm.
I believe you should see it now.
Yeah. Next. Yes. Next. Next, please. Yeah. Uh, the allowable percentage of fine in fish feed, okay, it should be preferable to should be less than 0.5%, but legislation up to 200% fine. Next. So the best quality in durability or belting durability index is 98%. Should be not less than 98%. Next. Feed is not just a mere nutritional composition, but rather a combination of ingredients that are harmonious and manufacturable, meeting the need for which it was created. Next. Water activity. Water activity is a vapor of pressure of water inside the feed pellet divided by the vapor pressure of pure water under the same condition of temperature. These terms refer mainly to feed processing. Okay. Next. Next, please. Next.
Right, sir. The network is just dropping this slide. We are on it. We bring it up now. Thank you for your
Okay.
patience. We are so sorry. The network is very bad at the moment, but it's coming up now.
Yeah. Water activity, not moisture content, is responsible for the microbial growth in feed, thus determining its shelf life and the storage period. All references point to water activity for determining the expiration date and weight loss during storage, as the weight of the feed is affected by either absorption or desorption based on water activity. Next. Okay. Uh, uh, Simply, moisture content of feed divided into two parts. The first one is inert part, تمام, inert moisture content, and the second is active water or external moisture content. This picture explain inert moisture, which inside the feed pellet beyond microbes. So this type of feed with low water activity is so good. We can store it about 6 months or more. Next. Active moisture. It's poor quality parameter in our feed because microbes can utilize active water in the process of growth and production, leading to feed spoilage and fungal toxins. Next. Next.
Can you take the question? Philomena, someone asked the question.
All
How
right,
we do
sir.
the
Yeah.
network?
How can SFS ensure pellet size homogeneity in homemade fish feed production? Uh, I think uh, it require high experience with someone expert with feed processing, because we'll talk about uh, feed processing lines, which is called extruder. Okay, but uh, when you like or uh, prefer to manufacture your feed at home, I think it should depends mainly on the formulation, تمام, which should be homogenized, and you could use warm water, which enhance cooking in your machine. Okay. Water activity, while we find that factors such as temperature, pH level, and other affect growth, the primary factor affecting the quality and safety of feed is water activity, especially in preserving the feed component and physical properties such as color, taste, and odor. Okay, next. This curve is uh, some sort of academic, mainly refers that after 0.63 microbial growth will occur at high level of water activity. Vitamins will be distracted, enzymes will be affected, oxidation of fats will occur, and fat transidity. Next. Next. Water activity mainly referred to feed mills and feed processing. It should be not more than 0.61. Okay, it's the best quality for fish feed, which has water activity 0.61. I don't know, is there any labs in your area which evaluate aquafeed with this criteria? It, I think it's mandatory in each region to has lab should be reference for farmers when they choose high quality feed to determine level of quality of manufacturing. So يعني if we could make lab for evaluation this criteria in each area to support our farmers to avoid poor quality aqua feed. Okay. Always tell me the water hardness. Okay, hardness is a poor criteria for fish feed. Hardness is measured by extent of force required to break a feed pellet. One of the most commonly used device for this purpose is cal tester for measuring hardness. Some people may confuse between hardness and feed durability, but it is important to emphasize that hardness is not desirable attribute in feed. A high hardness is usually associated with the burning of feed component and decrease its nutritional value, which affect fish performance and conversion rate. Avoid hard pellets. Okay, choose the durable one. Durable one, it's like rubber, but hard one, it looks like glasses, which injure the digesta and the mucosa and the internal buccal cavity of the fish. Next. This picture is show apparatus which determine the hardness degree of the pellet, but it's for feed mills. Okay, either manual or electronic, as you see. Next. Biochemical stability of feed refer to the ability of feed component, which are the combination of biochemical compound, to remain unchanged or resist to reactions that may lead to formation of new component during manufacturing. It's also feed processing issue. It's related to feed mills. We avoid any biochemical reaction between feed component in this area. But when you manufacture your feed at home, I think you far from this problem. Next, please. Next. We only remain about 2 or 3 slides. Yeah, next. Yeah, microscopical examination only is the uh, uh, main test for determining the feed quality. We can take pellets under microscope to determine gelatinization level of carbohydrates, water activity, grinding quality, mixing quality, and biochemical stability. It's also need feed mills, need lab. Okay. I hope you can found lab for this to determine these factors, to determine these parameters of quality. Okay, to enhance and help our farmers to manufacture good fish feed. Next, please. Thank you. I'm so happy to be found with you in this session, and so sorry for disturbance of slides presentation, and all support for you. If any question, avec plaisir.
Thank you so much for the impactful session, sir. It was such a great one. I've learned a whole lot, and I believe every of our viewers have learned a lot as well. So, viewers, now you know that feed is a very, very important thing in aquaculture.
Yeah,
You have to know the fish feed quality. The quality should be considered, and it has
yeah,
been made known to us about all the parameters associated with this quality feed: the water
yeah,
stability, the feed durability, allowable percentage of fines, or water activities, biochemical stability, microscopic examination, and all. We've really learned a lot. Thank you so much, sir. We are so happy to
thank you,
have you.
thank you. All support for you, and all hope for excellent and good aquaculture in your countries. Aquaculture or feed is the key issue, and the future for to compensate our feed. Thank you. Thanks a lot for
Thank you,
you
sir.
and
Thank you, sir.
this good opportunity for meeting you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Before you go, sir, there's a question for you here. Um, Baby Bell is asking if you can talk a little on feed durability and what fines are.
Fines is the percent of powder in feed. As you like, feed should be in pellet form. but during manufacturing, due to poor manufacturing process, we could detect some feeds like powder. So it's called fine. Fine means powder content. We should select the high durability aquafeed, which contain about 98% pellets and maximum 2% powder or fine, because fine content or powder content in your feed dissolved in the farm water and negatively affect its quality parameters. Okay, we should select durability at least 98. There is
Israel. I
apparatus
have the
used in this process to determining durability called Holman tester, but I think it's difficult to our farmers to obtain this apparatus. So we can make sieving for our pellets. I mean, put 1 kilo of your aquafeed in a sieve, okay, and note the powder percent. ماشي powder percent 1%, 2%, 5%, 8%. Okay, high quality aquafeed usually accompanied by high durability. As you know, it should be not less than 98%.
Thank you so much, sir. Baby Bell, I am very sure your question has been answered. So now you know that the fine in your feed are the powdered content in your feed, and
Yeah,
you should not have more than 2% of fines. Else, your feed will just leach into the water and it's going to pollute your water. So I believe you have learned that. Thank you so much, sir, for the
thank you,
session.
thank you. Avec plaisir.
Yeah. Samuel.
All right, thank you so much, for joining us. We really appreciate you, and we hope that this will help people channel their business rights in 2025. Even for feed producers, I believe they must have learned a lot from this insight coming from a professional in the field. Thank you very much, sir. We wish you the best of luck now and in 2025.
Let me suppose one point. I think it's important for our farmers.
All right.
Okay, I think some sort to support our farmers, we can establish a lab in your area, contain apparatus which determine the feed quality parameters, like Holman tester, like Cal apparatus, like water activity apparatus. Our farmers can go to these labs with their feeds to evaluate these feeds, okay, and select the high quality one. I think it's important point to support our farmers with big lab can support them in determining the feed quality parameters. I think we should consider this issue because, as you know, feed represent about 65 to 70% of production cost. Let's think in this point to support our farmers. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir, for that insight. Thank you. We will also amplify this message. We are going to create it in quote form and ensure it is being publicized across platforms to farmers in Africa. Thank you very much, sir, for this insight. We really appreciate it. All right, moving forward, we are going to be having our next speaker, which is Frank Owusu from Ghana. But before then, I'm going to play some exhibition video from some of our exhibitors.
Want to use this medium to let you know that our corporate ventures will be exhibiting at the
forefront of innovative solutions for fish farming, from expertly constructed tarpaulin ponds to water treatment plants. We provide everything you need to create a thriving aquaculture environment. Maximize efficiency with our advanced circulating aquaculture system designed to optimize water use and maintain fish health. Our comprehensive consultancy services ensure that you receive expert guidance tailored to your unique needs. At Blue Rise, we believe in empowering next generation of aquaculture professionals through our hand-on training program. You can contact us on 070-324-33677. Blue Rise Aquaculture, where your aquaculture journey begins. In a world where sustainable practices are vital, Blue Rise Aquaculture is at the forefront of solutions for fish farming. From expertly constructed tarpaulin ponds to water treatment plants.
All right, thank you so much from Blue Rise Aquaculture.
Generation of aquaculture professionals through our hand-on training program. You can contact us on 070-324-33677. Blue Rise begins.
All right, so the conference moderator, can you just say a little about Blue Rise Aquaculture before we bring up the next speaker, what they are into, and so that the viewers can learn more and visit them later after now.
Yeah, listeners, that is Blue Rise Aquaculture. Blue Rise Aquaculture is located along Abeokuta Shagam Expressway, Abeokuta. Blue Rise Aquaculture offers the following services. They offer fish production in large scale, full fish processing services, hatchery setup. Their expertise in setting up hatcheries for optimal fingerlings production, pond construction, their professional designs, and they construct earthen ponds, concrete ponds, and cage culture system. Recirculatory system is not left behind, and including tarpaulin ponds that can last you for 15 to 20 years. Blue Rise Aquaculture does training, train students, youth, and every aquaculture enthusiast. Blue Rise Aquaculture set up treatment plants, and they are experts in feed production. As we speak, they are so glad to share their groundbreaking innovations in the aquaculture industry. And these are two innovations which include solar powered recirculating system. This is entirely powered by solar energy, and this system ensures uninterrupted 24/7 operations without reliance on national power grid. And the second innovation is the all maize sex reversal feed for tilapia production. Blue Rise Aquaculture provides all you need definitely in the aquaculture industry, and you can contact them on 070-3243-3677. Thank you.
Please, I would like you to use the country code because we have different viewers from different countries
All
to
right, you
ensure that.
can
Yeah,
contact
thank
them
you.
on +2347032433677. I'll call it again. +2347032433677. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. So you can do us reach out to Blue Rise Aquaculture if you have needs of tarpaulin ponds and construction around aquaculture systems. They are a go-to person to do that. So without too much ado, we have our next speaker here, which is Mr. Frank Owusu, the co-founder and CEO at Aquamet Technologies. They are into technology application in aquaculture that helps you make more money, helps you practice aquaculture sustainably. So welcome as I join me as I welcome Mr. Frank Owusu to the stage. You can have the stage now, sir.
Okay, good morning, Samuel, and good morning, everyone. Please, can you hear me, Samuel?
Very clear.
All right, thank you so much for this opportunity. I think I was supposed to make this presentation yesterday, but I couldn't make it. My time too is a little bit, so I'll try to do this in the next 20 minutes so that probably I'll also have time to attend to some other matters. We have some scheduled meetings today as well. All right, so my name is Frank Owusu, and a co-founder and CEO of Aquamed Technologies, and I'm speaking on adopting smart technologies for profit maximization and then also waste reduction in aquaculture in an attempt to make fish farming sustainable. And Aquamed Technologies is located in Ghana, and this happens to be our contact details. You can reach out to our customer service and then also myself with the following details. So this is a bit about me. I have a background in aquaculture from Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, Ghana, and I'm also a co-founder and CEO of Aquamed Technologies, and also a member of the Blue Food Partnership Initiative that is being a project by the World Economic Forum and then also the Chamber of Aquaculture Ghana, and then also a technical working group member of the Food and Agriculture Organization of the UN that is developing a national aquatic organism health strategy, in Ghana. Currently, I'm also a technical working group member, and then also I'm also a research associate at the Chamber of Aquaculture Ghana. So this is a bit about me and then what I do currently in Ghana. And I would like to speak a bit about Aquamed. So we are a technology company and a startup. We began around 2022, and we are so much keen on pioneering some other technologies or modern technologies, moving it into the aquaculture industry for sustainability and then also resource management. So we have two core products that we've developed here in Ghana. So one of them happens to be a smart water quality device that we basically developed, manufactured, and then we are deploying in Ghana currently. And then we also have a management software that is for production and then resource management. It's basically an ERP platform for fish farmers. So basically that is what Aquamed does. And then our main aim is to be able to help the highly undigitized fish farming industry in Africa to actually adopt some of the key technologies that we believe will be a catalyst for growth and then also development in the aquaculture space. So we are a team, and then I happen to lead this particular team. I happen to drive the vision and then also strategy development and business development around it. And yes, so that is basically us. We've also conducted some research outside Ghana. We've collaborated with some few organizations like the Open Capital Advisories, and they've done some extensive research, in even Nigeria and Kenya and Cote d'Ivoire for us on our market expansion, which we are looking forward to in the coming years to actually expand some of our products and services to those regions. So this is a bit about statistics or some basic statistics that are very current to the aquaculture industry, around the world, and then also the perspective of Africa. So this data was taken from the SOFIA, that is the State of Fisheries and Aquaculture, a report that is actually released by the FAO every year. So this data was taken from that particular, we reference this particular data from the Sophia FAO Sophia 2022. So we realized that the total production, of aquaculture is forecasted to grow by 10%, which is supposed to reach over 205 million tons by 2030. I think I made a mistake on that particular date over there. So 2030, we are looking out to having over 205 million tons, of aquaculture production, or that is fish production. And then in 2022, we saw an amazing statistics which shows that aquaculture surpassed capture fisheries at 17% CGAR to 4% in the capture fisheries. This means that the growth potential or the production capacity of aquaculture increased by 17% as against 4%. And we all know the reason why this is so, because in capture fisheries, we are recording high decline, high dwindling of fish stock, and some regions like Ghana have implemented some strategies like the close season just to help stock rejuvenate, to grow in that particular sense. But because of our fishing and then IUU unregulated fishing practices and other bad fishing practices, most of our capture fisheries are reducing drastically, in production or output. And this necessitates the growth potential of aquaculture, which is man or actually an attempt to farm fish, manually, or an attempt to farm fish independent of the natural stock. So we are so much emphatic, as people that are concerned in food security, in food systems, on empowering more people, empowering more technologies into the aquaculture sector so that it grows to augment the fish needs of people around the globe. And then we also discovered that, or it is also discovered that the per capita fish consumption is set to decline drastically in the sub-Saharan Africa, especially, especially in the sub-Saharan Africa. So, Nigeria, Ghana, and most of these West African countries, that might be joining this webinar, we all fall under this sub-Saharan Africa. So the reason being that, some of the practices that we are engaging on our fish farmers, so you look at the global growth, it is growing, but in Africa here, it is not so. So we have to now adopt key technologies and also some innovations that will help us to be able to catalyze the growth of aquaculture in the sub-Saharan region, so that we are able to augment the fish deficits that we are, encountering here, so that the per capita fish consumption wouldn't, decrease. In Ghana, in West Africa, there is a standard, and it's supposed to be 25 kg per person, for per annum. That is, we estimate that 25 kg of fish is supposed to be consumed by an individual, at the end of a year. But currently in Ghana, we are around 12 to 14%, which is still below the 25% projected. What that causes is that it causes more nourishment, and then, it actually reduces our food security index. So if you also look at the Africa and Ghana perspective, for instance, so the sector is currently employing over 600,000 people, which is very massive. That is 3% of the working force in Africa. And then if you narrow it down to the perspective of Ghana, which we are using Ghana as a case study, but this represents most of the scenarios in other African countries. So if you look at the fish requirements of Ghana, we have about 1.3 million tons of fish requirements. And the country is only able to produce about 657,000 tons. That is coming from both capture fisheries and then also aquaculture. So that is a deficit of over 650,000 tons of fish, which worth over $88 million of fish that are imported, into the country annually. And this data was recorded, in 2023, where Ghana imported over $88 million worth of fish into the country. So it triggers high importation and it weakens, our microeconomic bits because of high importation. And this also gives us an indication that there's more room for us to develop our aquaculture industry, more opportunities out there for us to empower more people, into the aquaculture industry so that we are able to push, the fish deficit gap, which is currently around 49.9% in Ghana here. And I believe that is also the case of most, African countries that we have. And then we also have the fish farmers being predominantly smallholder farmers. So when you come to Ghana here, over 80% of the fish farmer population are all smallholder farmers. That means that most of them are, having less capacity in terms of technologies, in terms of human capacity, in terms of, resources, key resources such as capital, access to capital, for them to, scale their production in order for them to reach, or in order for us as a country to, have significant, impact of the aquaculture industry, So we have to now target most of these smallholder farmers. If we are deploying any form of solution, they become a key target for any of these solutions so that, we are able to empower them to, offset the fish deficit gap. So we will look at some of the technologies that are currently, very key to the industry that we believe that it will help us to be able to catalyze or to be able to speed up on our production bits, so that we are able to, provide, or we are able to grow the aquaculture industry in that particular sense. So one of them happens to be Internet of Things, which are very modern, and then also very, very popular nowadays on our technological landscape. So Internet of Things, that devices that can actually help us monitor remotely environmental parameters. And most of us know how important environmental parameters such as pH, water quality, let me put them together. Water quality is to our, our aquaculture, our fish farming. And then we also can use this IoT devices for disease surveillance, that will provide us early warning systems. So the high mortalities that are due to disease, that are normally not discovered or that are normally not noticed on time, unless some samples of water or fish is taken to the laboratory to, determine. Some of these IoT devices can help us to actually determine on site and remotely, what are some of the challenges that are happening in the pond, water, fish, so that farmers are made aware so that they don't wake up to high mortalities while they don't have any knowledge about it. And then it can also help us in automation. We can automate key aspects that reduces the time spent on farms, key aspects like feeding, and this automation do not just help us to, reduce the work bit or the work bit on farm, but it's also help us to, make accurate decisions when they even come to feeding. So if you take feeding, for instance, the amount of feed that are supposed to be given to the fish at every stage, and sometimes because we use our discretions and all that, we end up wasting feed, and sometimes on eating feed, also emits radiations and all that. And sometimes we run at a loss because of some of these challenges around, intuitions, and then also improper management of resources on farm. So IoT devices have the capacity, to actually augment some of these challenges, reduce waste, cut down the cost of production by actually helping us to apply certain resources, with data-driven approach. And then we can also talk about mobile technologies. I think I joined in with a session, first session, where you was talking about how, e-commerce can transform, our industry, our agricultural industry. So it's similar to aquaculture too. we can harness mobile technologies now. Almost, a lot of people that we didn't think are using mobile or will use mobile phones are using it, because there are some social media platforms that are becoming so much attractive even to the elderly. So you can see people that are elderly people, using mobile phones, smartphones, and then it becomes quite easier for them to also access, some of these things if we are able to put them out there. So market access, supply chain, real-time access to data and information. So fish farmers will be able to sell their products online, will be able to, harness on mobile platform to, obtain inputs remotely, online, so that they are able to cut down on transportation of going to, the market themselves and all that. Just at a click of a button, they can order feed, they can order inputs, they can order tarpaulin tanks and all that. So mobile technologies are becoming so much, efficient, or is helping to bridge that gap where farmers, wouldn't have to spend much time in actually obtaining an input. And then also real-time access to data and information. And this is very critical. You see, there is a saying that you can't manage what you don't know. So many a times, we don't have enough data on our farms. So I think recently there was this woman that was, talking about how much feed he has applied on the farm. He just estimated that it is very high, and then, he's looking for market and all that. And we were trying to infer from her how much exactly she has spent on feed, and she was not able to say it because she doesn't have an idea of how much she has she has actually invested in feed. So, mobile platform can also help us to be able to track our production, our production expenses, our production data and all that, so that we don't have to be recording it. So initially we have to go to Excel, or some of them are writing it on paper, which are very vulnerable, most of, taking data. And some of these data are very critical. That is what limits even a lot of people from not accessing some credit facilities and all that. So we try to digitize some of these data, so it's very easier for the farmer to now record his daily data on the mobile phone and then get access to it when he needs it. And this also help us to transform, or help them to transform their farm, in input acquisition, tracking their production data, to know how they are doing, whether they are running at a loss or being profitable. So they don't just use their analogies and then their perceptions to describe their venture. And then also information, information is very critical, how farmers access extension information. And most of us that are very, very much, into the aquaculture industry knows that extension services, are normally very difficult to come by. So
Mr. Frank,
yeah,
Mr. Frank, yeah, I
yeah.
think you are not changing your slide, so they are not able to follow through.
Oh, okay. Where are we? Key technologies, right?
Yes.
Yes, I think I'm still talking about that.
Okay, yes.
Yeah, so
Can
I'm talking
everyone see
about
the
the
slide
mobile
now?
technologies, and then I'll talk
Good.
about the drone bit.
All right, sir, you can go ahead, sir.
All right. So that is it. How we access information, extension services, mobile technologies can also help us in that particular regard. And then also, we can also harness drones, AI, robotics. Most of us that are also very much into cage farming. Some of us that farm on the lake. It becomes very easier if they are able to deploy some drones, robots into diving, cage diving, and all that, cage inspection. Normally, it is done by humans. Okay, so this also has the potential to helping us get the work done, even safely without endangering people and all that. And it also helps in instant decision making. So these are just some innovative technologies that are being harnessed and that can also be harnessed in different areas of aquaculture. And we believe that aquaculture which we are still looking at it. In the absence of that, they are also so we can talk about the recirculation aquaculture systems, and then bioflux systems, aquaponics, black soldier fly, feeds that are also being, actually being looked at. And all these systems has the potential of reducing waste, and then also improving resources usage at the farm level. So those are some of the systems that are also being used, and we must also be able to harness some of these systems, increase its capacity so that we are able to optimize of solar power. You will see a lot of aquaponic systems out there, and then even this bioflog, and then also RAS systems out there. And that we believe that modern technologies can help improve in the aquaculture industry. So one key area has to be feed and other input management, and it's very critical. I know feed happens to be one of the inputs that farmers are always complaining about, in Ghana here, and I know it is similar in other parts of the continent. So feed, represent over 60%. Even in Ghana here, they will tell you 70%, of the total production cost. So in other for some of the technology that we can look at is now we have farmers, having access to mobile technologies that will help them to calculate their feed, based on fish weights, FCR calculation and all that, so that they don't just write it, but they can just use an FCR calculator, then they just calculate it and know how much feed to apply. And what that does is that it helps them to reduce overfeeding and then also underfeeding that impact fish growth, and then also environmental, parameters respectively. So, and then also fish farmers are able to track their feed, on a common dashboard. They are able to track their feed in that particular sense, so that they know how much they are right estimate of their feed. And in other, there's an adoption of feed automation machines, that help them to feed, or automatic feeders as we call them. So that is also an opportunity, in the industry, that we believe when we are able to harness it, it will help us in that particular sense. So automatic feeders can also be harnessed, for efficient feeding, and then also efficient management of inputs. And then we can also talk about market access. Market access is very critical. Farmers are done with production, but where to sell it, and sometimes middlemen also have their own way of going about it. But mobile technologies have the potential to bring farmers closer to the consumer, so that so too much. So market access, e-commerce platforms, can also be built so that farmers are able to able to keep good records so that they are able to even use some of these records and data to obtain for credit for their farms. Financing in agriculture is quite a challenge because normally it is quite, the risk is quite high, but many a times the farmers do not have the right documentation.
All right, let's be patient. I think his network dropped him. So let's be patient while he joins back. Thank you.
All right, while we wait for him, if you have any question, kindly drop in the comment box. And okay, I think he's here.
Hello, Mr. Frank.
Hello. Yeah, Samuel, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. You are here to bring up your slide. I'll just bring it up.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, clearly. You are here to bring up your slide.
Hello, Samuel. Let me know if I can go on. I think I lost you.
Yeah, you can go on. You can go on. You can go on.
All right. All
Yes.
right. Thank you.
Yeah.
So I got to the innovative financing. So as I was saying, we can order for us to reduce some of the losses that are caused by some of these issues. And then we can also use have softwares that will help us to streamline our supply chain and our human resources management, at the farm level.
All right, viewers, is really experiencing network glitches. So while we wait for him, like I said earlier, if you have any question, just drop it in the comment box. So he's talking to us about adopting smart technology and data to maximize profits and reduce loss for a sustainable aquaculture. And I believe so far we have been able to learn one or two things. So I think he's here. Hello, sir, are you there? Okay, let's move on. So I believe we have been able to learn one or two things from what he has said so far. As for me, I've learned a lot, ranging from innovative technology to innovative system, innovative financing. I've really learned a lot. Okay, I think he's here. Welcome back, sir.
Hello, Samuel.
Yes, sir, you can move on. We can hear you.
Oh yeah, the moderator can hear you. I can hear you too.
Hello, can someone hear me?
Yeah, we can. We can.
We can hear you, sir.
Maybe it's his reception. His reception from his own end.
I think so. We can hear you, sir.
I think it's his network. We can hear you. Please go ahead. So his network is very bad.
Oh, okay. So while we wait for him, Elos, are you there? Okay. While we wait for him, let's just talk about what he has spoken about earlier. So now we know what mobile technology has done for many businesses, and most especially in our aquaculture field. We know what this has done. Initially, when farmers need to get feed, they will have to travel to see the feed, to buy the feed, but now they can just order it using their mobile phone. And initially, when they have to get other farm inputs, and well, for example, like tarpaulin pond, they'll have to travel to see the tarpaulin ponds, to check it out, to look at it, inspect everything. But now, many businesses, many aquaculture businesses are running their adverts using their mobile phone, mobile technology. They'll send samples. You can see the samples of what you want to buy, samples, sizes, in different sizes, colors, even videos. If there is need be to test run anyone, they'll do the video. You check your fingerlings, you check them, how active they are. You can do everything using mobile. And when you are certain of what you want to get, you can just order for it without traveling. This has really reduced cost of transportation, risk of life, and even time. Time, if you have to transport yourself down to a far distance, the time during the transportation when you get there to check. But now you can just check everything on your phone, and in your comfort zone, you can be on your bed and just check out everything and just place your order, and everything will be delivered to you perfectly. That is what most businesses are making use of these days, and it's really helping a lot. So he spoke about the drone AI and robotic video monitoring of cages. Cage culture system is always on a large water body, and you will need to monitor your fish. Now we have different kind of robotic video that they dive into the water body to monitor the fish, and without you even getting to the water, you can monitor your fish from the outside with the aid of robotic video monitoring, AI. And also, I spoke about those the other innovative systems like the RAS, that's the recirculating aquaculture system. So this is a very good innovation that has helped fish farmers, especially those who are in um, areas where there is insufficient water. You know, this water can undergo treatment, pass through UV light, and recirculate, and the fish make use of it again, and it goes like that. The bioflux, the aquaponics. The aquaponics now is becoming rampant. We have many people going into aquaponics. We have many people going into aquaponics now, using the greenhouse, planting without soil, etc. And we also have black soldier fly feed. So we have really learned a lot even before the end of his session. So thank you everyone, and please make sure to attend tomorrow's conference. there's going to be video. We are going to be dropping video will be available after the live stream tomorrow. And please subscribe and share. Please subscribe and share. And I think his network issue is beyond his control. So I'm not sure he's coming up to round up his session, but he has said majority of what he has to say, and I believe we have learned a lot before he finishes. Because as for me, my book is full. I've learned a lot. So thank you, everyone. Now, Samuel.
All
So,
right, can you hear you? I can
all
hear you.
right.
Yes. Thank you, everyone. Please see you tomorrow, same time, same venue tomorrow. Bye.